I'm Rick Kahler. Thanks for joining me today. Well, in many columns over the years, I've mentioned how important it is for parents and children to talk about the parents' estate plans and the provision of their wills. Actually, having such a conversation is very easily said, but it can be terribly difficult, whether you approach the conversation as the parent or the child. Perhaps the following suggestions may be helpful. Presumably, your will reflects your values around money, whether you believe in giving to charity, in providing first for your family, or in leaving a legacy to your community. If you share those values more openly during your lifetime, you will give family members a better idea of what to expect from your estate. Now, such openness isn't necessarily an easy habit to develop. In our society, money is almost the last taboo subject for discussion, even though we are increasingly open about many other sensitive and once forbidden topics. It often works best to begin gradually to let your family members know what you believe about money. Now, one way to do this is by taking advantage of openings in general conversations. For example, a news item about a billionaire leaving huge sums to a charitable foundation can be an opportunity to express your opinion of such an action. This can lead to a conversation about what you would do with your own billions if you had them, then to a more realistic conversation about how you plan to distribute the assets you have. If your will doesn't treat your children equally for whatever reasons, it may be best to share that information individually rather than announcing it at a family get-together or letting them find out about it when your will is read. Maybe you've given one child significant financial help, for example, and as a result are leaving less of your estate to her than to her siblings. Or perhaps you're leaving money outright to one child but leaving a sum in trust for another child who might be less responsible or a spendthrift. Talking about such provisions privately with each child can give the two of you at least a chance to discuss the bequest and the reasons that you have behind that. Now, again, this conversation can really be difficult, but it can do a lot to reduce the conflict between siblings after you're gone. Now, one of the most unfair things you can do is to allow children to assume they are inheriting more than what is really the case. By not telling them, you might avoid conflict now, but you're sowing the seeds for deeper conflict and resentment after your death. Now, on the other hand, it can be difficult for children to unexpectedly inherit a large amount of money that they had no clue that the parents had. If your estate will be substantial and you have more than enough for your own needs through old age, one possibility might be to begin giving to your children now. Such gifts can open the door to conversations about their expectations. It can help them begin to think about how they will handle their inheritance, can give you a chance to observe how they handle a sum of money. Although it's seldom expressed, perhaps the strongest reason for not discussing estate plans with family members is simply fear. Parents may be afraid that children will disapprove of their plans or will build too much on their expectations for an inheritance, or will be angry at the parents or resentful of other heirs. True, talking to your family about your will and your wishes can be extremely difficult and even painful. That pain will almost certainly be less, however, than the stories a child may make up after you're gone about why you made the choices you did. Having the courage to discuss your estate plans with your family can be a valuable piece of the legacy that you leave them. Thanks for joining.